How each Myers Briggs type processes emotions. For each MBTI personality type, the way in which emotions are processed and dealt with will no doubt differ. Here's our look at how you process emotion according to your Myers Briggs type. INFJ. INFJs do what they can to maintain their emotional equilibrium, but due to their acute sensitivity, INFJ's emotional state is constantly under threat. Because they can easily feel what other people feel, INFJ may often absorb the emotional baggage of other people and lose sight of which feelings are authentically theirs. INFJs tend to process their emotions privately by reflecting on the events that created them. They will seek to talk things out once they've done some preliminary analysis, but will mostly rely on themselves to find what they deem to be the best path forward for everyone involved. INTJ. Despite what their cold, sociopathic eyes might suggest, INTJs do have feelings. They just don't pay a great deal of attention to them. INTJs are probably the last person you'll want to turn to if you're looking for emotional support because they aren't wired to coddle and console. However, when they encounter situations that require emotional understanding both of themselves and others, INTJs will utilize the same analytical tools used to assess impersonal issues in order to find an effective course of action. INTJs may withdraw from others to sort their feelings out privately and will eventually reconnect after having thoroughly thought things over. INFP. INFPs trust and embrace their emotional instincts, and so if something doesn't feel good to them, this will heavily influence their decisions. INFPs run the gamut of emotions because almost everything they encounter makes them feel a certain kind of way. They can experience a rapid cycle of positive and negative emotion which can range from childishly giddy to salty sourpuss. When INFPs are processing negative feelings, they may allow themselves to sulk and wallow in it. They like to let their feelings simmer to perfection and then channel their demons through some form of self-expression or creative outlet. Fantasy and escapism may be a favorite form of emotional catharsis for the INFP. ENTP. ENTPs do not like to focus on emotions and will often choose to ignore them or deflect with humor. Although they have the capacity to understand and figure out the causes of various emotional states, they prefer not to get bogged down with it. They like to keep things light and airy and will often use their sense of humor to poke fun at a sad situation and find a positive angle to consider. ENTPs tend to intellectualize emotions and break them down in a logical manner. It is less interesting or comfortable for ENTPs to immerse themselves in the fish tank of emotions because it is mostly seen as a messy distraction. ESTJ. ESTJs do not pay a great deal of attention to their emotions and may only become aware of them after being brought to their attention by other people. In public, they regulate much of their behavior to present the image they want to present. ESTJs may have issues with anger, especially when under stress, but this may be witnessed only by those closest to them. ESTJ tries to deal with their emotions in a way that is dignified and will avoid divulging their personal issues to anyone but their most trusted confidants. They will likely seek professional counsel from therapists or their religious leaders to help them in dealing with emotional matters that become a problem. ESFJ. ESFJs like being a shoulder for others to cry on and providing a source of comfort and counsel to them. When it comes to their own feelings, they may be in need of the same support from others. ESFJs like to discuss just about everything because communication is pretty much a form of therapy for them. When they are sad or happy, they like having someone around to validate what they are feeling. Their way of helping others process emotions is by commiserating with them, providing physical comforts or sharing a similar experience of their own. ISFJ. ISFJ can get easily distressed by negative emotions and consequently may withdraw and become short with people. ISFJ needs time to meditate on their feelings and will seek input from those close to them. A lot of their emotional issues may stem from anything that reminds them of negative experiences in their past. They may subconsciously be dealing with unresolved pain or recurring fears they never quite overcame. Talking with close friends and loved ones can help illuminate the ISFJ perspective and allow them to understand themselves better and find some closure for unresolved emotional baggage. INTP. INTPs tend to bottle their feelings and deal with them privately, even though deep down, it would be nice to have a sympathetic person to help them air things out. INTP will often attempt to rationalize their feelings and try to identify the cause of the negative emotions to figure out where things went wrong and why. In private, they allow themselves feel the sadness, feel the anger, and let it run its course. They are likely to listen to music or watch movies that match or speak to what they are feeling. Although INTPs mostly conceal their feelings from other people's view, they no less feel and experience intense emotions, especially that of any festering anger they've ignored for too long. ENFJ. ENFJs embrace the humanity of their emotions and they allow themselves to show their joy and sadness in almost equal measure, although they try to project emotional strength for the most part. They are passionate and they use their depth of feeling and insight to help connect with people. While they are very attentive to the feelings of other people, ENFJs may be relatively in the dark in understanding their own emotions. ENFJ confides in the people close to them for emotional support and counsel. They also take time to reflect and dwell on what they feel, but can sometimes overthink matters. When under great stress, ENFJs may overreact and run the risk of turning into an emotional wreck. ENTJ. Because of their inferior phi, many ENTJs may be guilty of low emotional awareness. They may often be viewed as narcissistic sociopaths who care only about their ambitions and objectives. When ENTJs experience upsets and disappointments, they often don't stop to appreciate how or what they really feel. They focus on solutions and what can be done about it. Rather than dwell on their emotions, ENTJs chalk it up to learned experience and set about moving on to the next thing. ENTJs bury themselves in the pursuit of their goals, and keeping themselves busily progressing towards something is for them the best antidote to almost any negative emotion. ENTJs may lack depth in their understanding of emotions, but they try to deal with them in a constructive way. ENFP. ENFPs are very attuned to their emotions, but may require time to themselves in order to sort them out. They desire to be authentic and true to their values and principles, and this informs the way in which they deal with emotional matters. ENFPs are good at deciphering emotions and understanding their underlying significance. They are observers of human behavior and can delve deep into understanding themselves and other people. This allows them to be very helpful to others through the dispensation of insight they accrue over time from self-knowledge and awareness of their personal issues and how to best overcome them. ISTJ. Although they are often unemotive and stoic, ISTJs are sensitive introverts who feel all sorts of emotions, especially that of embarrassment and frustration. They have difficulty expressing what they feel and often prefer to keep their emotions to themselves. They try to deal with them in a rational manner. ISTJs may distract themselves with work or casual tasks to keep their minds busy and productive until things blow over. They may also seek professional assistance and advice to help them understand and manage their emotions if they become a problem that interferes with their lifestyle. ISTP. ISTPs keep their emotions under control most of the time. They may be uncomfortable with and annoyed by people who can't get a grip on their emotions and spiral out of control. When they are upset or sad, ISTPs prefer to deal with their troubles on their own without much outside interference. For them, meditation, a walk in the park or some other calming excursion is the best thing for sorting their emotional issues, or at least blow off some steam. ISTPs may also distract themselves with more invigorating activities like video games or physical exercise. ISFP. ISFPs are sensitive to others' emotions and they try to be compassionate and understanding of them. They themselves believe in staying true to what they feel is authentic and will use their emotions as a guiding light for their choices. ISFPs pay attention to what they feel and take time to reflect and heal their own emotional wounds, possibly through pleasurable experiences and creative projects. Emotional distress can sometimes lead them to indulge in excessive indulgences and pleasure-seeking. ISFPs may also channel their emotions through their work and various creative outlets. ESTP. ESTPs process their emotions by taking action. Because they are inclined to express themselves immediately in such blunt and brazen ways, ESTPs can often get a lot of things off their chest right then and there. Sometimes this can lead to confrontation and bad impulsive decisions, and so it is also important to take a time out and think things over first. Exercise and other physical activities can provide an outlet for ESTPs to help them vent or clear their heads when negative emotions build up. ESFP. ESFP is passionate and full of vitality, and so their emotions can be a handful. ESFPs are very reactive and may act immediately on what their feelings tell them. Since they are often good at reading body language and physical telltale signs, this may influence their attitude and emotions as well. ESFP likes to process their emotions verbally by voicing them to others in exchange for feedback and validation. They may seek experiences that make them feel good to mitigate the effects of negative feelings.